Kani 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 goose 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 kani 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 goose 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 kani 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 kani.
All right, so let's go on to like the next one. This is one of your recommendations for me, a film I have not seen previously. This is Best Wishes to All by Yuta Shimotsu from 2022. A Japanese film starring Masashi Arifuku, Kotane Furukawa, Aina Hara, Yoshiko Inuyama, and Koya Matsudai. This is about a young nursing student with a kind heart visits her grandparents' home when she makes a disturbing discovery and learns that one's own happiness necessitates the suffering of someone else. Again, lifted right off Wikipedia there.
That's exactly what it's about.
Yeah.
I'm still, after seeing it twice now, I still have not fully grasped really what happened in the film.
Oh, okay.
There's still a lot I don't understand. Maybe you took it in differently than I did, so we'll find out. Yeah. But the thing I like about this film, and the reason I picked this for you, is because I saw this. It was being talked up quite a bit when it came on Shudder. This one was floated as like a Shudder original because it was the only streaming service that they showed it on. I watched it the first night that it came out, and immediately I'm like, this is a different type of J horror movie than I'm used to. I'm like, this one is kind of a thinker. There's a lot more going on.
Horror had like a little bit of a kind of resurgence in the early 2000s because of like The Ring and The Grudge and Dark Water, but people kind of realized sort of quickly it's saying they're all kind of the same thing is maybe like the not generous sort of thing, but it's a lot of fundamentally about the Japanese fear of buying a used house, and particularly a house that somebody else actually like died in. It's all the same thing. Oh, there's a creepy kid in a hallway, and he's gonna just kind of jump at you and make like a cat noise, and that was like really pretty much it.
Yeah. I do like the fact though that like I don't remember her name. Maybe you remember it.
The lead actress.
Yeah, the lead actress in this film.
I'm just going to call her Asian Bjork.
Asian Bjork. Right? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I remember right away. I'm like, she's a pretty good actress. She's very cute. I'm probably going to enjoy this film. I haven't seen her in anything else though. I did learn that she is. She just started on the there's an Anpanman. It's like a Japanese kids cartoon in Japan. It's also a book series about this superhero that has like a red bean bun for a head. And yeah, it's a fun cartoon. All Japanese people know this. But
it's at Sesame Street level out there. It's absolutely gigantic.
They have like a daily morning drama talking about the life of the guy that illustrated and created Anpanman and kind of his experiences during World War II, and just where he came up with the idea for Anpan after the war finished, and just him just pulling together the pieces of his life.
Right.
So she just happened to star as like one of the friends of like the main protagonist in like September. Only reason I bring that up is because my wife's been watching it, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know her, right? You know her. And she's like, I'm like 2 months behind. Sorry. She's coming up.
Yeah. She also apparently kind of starred in the like the live action adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho.
You mentioned that, yeah.
Like anime like a few years ago. Interesting thing about the film, I just checked the IMDb page. The reason you do not remember her character's name is that no character is actually explicitly named in any course of this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but for me, this film I thought was great. I had a very, very good time with it. It's a micro budget Japanese horror film. It's basically it's filmed in a single house in the countryside. It's again about this one young woman who lives in Tokyo, kind of goes out to visit her parents' estate her grandparents' estate in kind of Gifu or wherever the fuck.
Yeah,
it's not really kind of presented that they're rich. It's presented that it's kind of a bigger and it's a nicer house. She had the money to go to college. She's kind of presented as sort of like upper middle class. Her grandparents, when she gets there, act fucking weird, but they have this very delicious miso that they're serving like every night, and the granddaughter is just like just oh, you can get so much better miso in the countryside. It's amazing how good this is. essentially over the course of the film, the young woman discovers that that her grandparents are keeping basically a human slave in the attic of their countryside house.
Yeah.
This guy has his mouth and eyes sewn shut, and there is some kind of there's some kind of surgery, there's some kind of evisceration on this abdomen, and basically the delicious miso that they're extracting out of the slave's abdomen is basically sort of powering like the fortune and good luck that this family actually has.
I spent too much time trying to figure out what that was. By the way, I'm like, is it congealed blood?
It's
or
so
no.
the way that I watched this movie is like I think kind of the best way. I don't know the Japanese analogs to this. I think the director Shimotsu was actually a protege of the Japanese guy who originally directed The Ring. I think it's one of like the apprentices that he actually took on. But I think that the really big Western analog for this particular film is David Lynch, particularly early David, especially Eraserhead. I think that there are extremely clear kind of social and political messages in this film, but I think it's the kind of thing where like not every weird thing that happens is supposed to have like an obvious and clear analog. There's things you can kind of extrapolate out or sort of figure out in context, but I don't think it's supposed to be one of these kind of movies like The Thing or like or kind of more grounded ones where there's a bunch of rules and stuff to kind of figure out.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens that it, to your point, some of it you can explain it, some of it just seems like pure nonsense. At the beginning there's the scene
very Lynch, extremely Lynch.
The girl goes back to stay with the grandparents. She's talked to her parents. She's like, what? Yeah, that's fine, I'll stay with them for a bit. So she goes to their house and they're sitting down having a meal, and then the grandmother's like, here, try some of this pork, we just got it from the neighbors, they just slaughtered a pig and they gave us some of it, and I cooked it up. And the girl's like, well, this is pretty good. And then the grandmother's like, yeah, pigs are they're raised to be eaten, that's their whole purpose. Okay, that's
the whole purpose.
And then I think the girl heard a noise upstairs, and then the grandmother just snorts. And then the grandfather snorts, and then they're both snorting really loud like pigs. And she's like, okay, it's getting a little weird, you guys got to stop.
Very Lynch, very David Lynch.
And then they just stop. And that's it. And then they move on.
So over the course of the film, the granddaughter figures out that her grandparents are keeping this human slave in the house. She goes up. She's like, I don't know what's going on. The granddaughter runs into kind of like a childhood crush. This young guy that she kind of went to school with back in the day. And she tells him like, my grandparents are just keeping a guy in the attic. You have to help me. You have to help me kind of get this guy free. So like the two of them go in, and in a really gnarly sort of like see kind of great aesthetic and makeup work here, but you see like an extreme close up of them kind of cutting out stitches that are kind of put into this guy's eyelids to actually kind of just kind of wake him up. And then they take the guy downstairs, and they try to help him escape from the house. But you find out kind of then that the entire neighborhood is in on this whole thing, and basically every other kind of just economically successful family that's having kind of good luck in their life also has like a human slave like in their place. So the slave basically kind of goes out running down the street in his underwear, is almost immediately hit by like an older kind of towns dude just like driving a truck, has some like the best sort of kind of cheap like sort of CGI
that took me out of the film, by the way.
That
was the one moment I can't forgive because it got so cartoonish. The guy gets hit by a car, and then he loop-de-loops in the air like fucking Looney Tunes. He's Daffy
flying off like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote. He just got hit by like a truck, and he just floats through the air and just kind of falls down, and he's dead. And then her parents show up in the car with her brother, and they're like, oh,
they immediately they get out and they look at it. The little brother doesn't give any kind of shit because he's just playing a Switch the entire time. But her parents get out of the car. They see that the grandparents' human slave has escaped, and they go, oh no, he got loose.
Oh, you didn't You didn't tell her? And then
That's
they started apologizing to the guy that was driving the car.
Nobody told you. Why has nobody explained it? Nobody actually explains it to her.
No.
He hears this over and over again. That's this nightmare logic of like, oh, it plays in this fear of like everybody else knows something that you actually don't.
I love how the parents started apologizing to the guy that was driving the car that hit him.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm sorry. And they're like bowing.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
oh my God, this is so Japanese. And then,
come on the side.
yeah. And then the daughter's like, oh my God, is he okay? And they're like, don't worry about it. And they start kicking him off the side of the road into a ditch.
Right.
They're like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Because
and then
a few hours later, the sun is going down. They have lit the guy's body on fire.
Just burning him. And they're like, well,
we got to get a new one.
Find a new one. Yeah.
So like so very quickly the rest of the movie plays out like they kind of put on the girls like we need one of these human slaves to kind of produce like this miso for us. She's like,
it's all up to the daughter to find one. By the way,
like,
it's all her.
That's horrifying. I'm not going to do that. What the hell you talk about? You people are all monsters. But then she just kind of goes running off, and she's trying to figure out she's just trying to figure out like but everybody in the town she kind of gets like negged like a little bit by this other kind of girl that she went to high school with that for whatever reason looked like the Japanese version of the Topanga from Boy Meets World. That's kind of neither here nor there.
Sure.
But she figures out that there's one person in the town that didn't actually need one of these human slaves, and it's actually my aunt who went to live out in the mountains years and years ago. She goes up. She finds like her aunt's shack. She tries to spend the night with her. It turns out like the aunt is completely crazy. The aunt tries to teach her how to chop wood, and when the granddaughter's not paying attention, the aunt actually kind of sticks her head under the axe. And so
I saw that one coming. I knew it. Yeah. I knew it was coming. And that's the thing. Yeah, they talk about. So the girl talks to her father, and he finds out that his older sister, something similar happened when she was younger, and she didn't want to go find a replacement. Yeah, so she moved out to the woods. The girl goes out there thinking like, wow, my aunt's living a pretty normal life. After she murders her, she goes into her shack or hut or whatever, finds a curtain, pulls it back, and you can see that she had actually been keeping some kind of like slave in there that had died.
Her own skeleton, even though that she's living in a shack in the woods, she has to kind of vampire off of somebody else to even just have like that.
And they died so long ago. It's just like bones. It's like One Eye Willie kind of hanging there. And you can tell she's just been unhappy for a long time. I do love how she keeps feeding into the fact she's like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. It's all a simulation. We're all wearing. She's like, have you ever heard of VR? We're all wearing like VR headsets, and we're gonna wake up someday and we're gonna realize
the woman has gone completely crazy from isolation and just trying to like live off the grid, kind of live in the woods, and instead of like
she's wrong, John. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things around me that
it's getting weirder and weirder every day, my friend.
Did you see all those 0 1s on
any real argument for like
she had all the 0 1s kind of like carved into the wall there, and just
the number of people who watch like this horror movie and be like, yep.
Yeah, I know. It's like she was fine in the end. There's nothing wrong with her.
So this is my read. The thing that they're commenting on in the film, I think it's an absurdist cultural late capitalism kind of commentary on basically a lot of different things kind of happening in Japan. This was also done. I don't think you started the second season of Dawn to Dawn yet, correct?
I watched the first few episodes.
But there's a very, very kind of similar plot line of like this very kind of prosperous, successful mountain town that like the teens all go up to, and they eventually over the course of the first few episodes find out that the reason it's prosperous is that the older generation Japanese are basically sacrificing teenagers every once in a while to keep the town up, like to keep the town prosperous, and like the local volcano god like basically feeds.
Yeah, they're feeding a giant worm that I guess maybe just it moving around is causing like a volcano to erupt or something like that. So by feeding it, then it kind of soothes it. Right. But then they bury all the evidence. So whatever house was over where the worm lives, they would just kind of like build over it and keep building and building and building. So it's just like all these generations of homes kind of like stacked on each other underneath this like hill or mountain or something, which such an intense scene.
Yeah. And it's really kind of very sort of like reflective of the current kind of Japanese kind of like economic and cultural and like political scene. Like it just increasingly like there is I'm not at all like the most qualified kind of person to kind of speak to a lot of this, but you see things kind of happen within kind of like Japanese culture and the Japanese government of like, you know, they keep on passing these laws or not passing certain laws that advantage the older generation over the younger one. You know, like the younger Japanese generation Japanese, they keep on trying to push for things like okay, let's you know, just we're very depleted and strained as a workforce. Can we open up possibilities for more immigration and more integration of kind of foreign kind of workers into our society? The average age currently of a Japanese construction worker is 59 years old. That's just like not a really sustainable thing. Older generation Japanese will be like, yeah, you know, we don't want more gaijin in the neighborhood. We don't want that. Younger generation Japanese politicians being like, okay, let's try to improve and encourage English education in the school. Like, you know, just despite Japan being a very wealthy and educated kind of prosperous nation, English support is extremely low compared to like a lot of other kind of much less economically prosperous East Asian countries. Again, older generation Japanese always kind of like go down these initiatives to kind of say, yeah, you know what, we don't want to hear that much English. We don't think it should be taught like that extensively in schools.
Yeah.
In my girlfriend's in my girlfriend's kind of home neighborhood, there's two grocery stores, both the same chain, both like a grocery store chain called Samito. One on one side of the town is giant and is kind of very spacious and well laid out, and it has all these kind of sort of, it's just kind of fresh vegetables and exotic brands, kind of miso and rice and all these kind of interesting sort of foreign ingredients, and kind of great bakery and a great sort of kind of like deli and seafood and meat, whatever else. And then on the other side of the neighborhood, there is a much smaller Samito that's all prepared boxed lunches. I asked my girlfriend once, she's like, I'm like, what's the difference between these two? There's some obvious partition. What's going on? And Naoko explained to me like the bigger grocery store is for the elderly people, for the retirees. It's for the people that actually have time to shop and cook and make homemade meals. The other one on the other side of town with also like the bento and like the frozen dinners and everything else, that's for the middle-aged people that are still that are still commuting and working long hours and don't actually kind of have time to actually cook for themselves at all. I think, you know, what this movie is about kind of fundamentally, it's about sort of the you know, obviously in kind of Japan, the sort of like the generational forces exploiting the young people, but there's also like a little bit of like the parasite kind of thing as well. That there's also like a little bit of the like capitalist. It's not as stark because Japan just does not have the extremes of kind of wealth and poverty that you know that other nations necessarily do. But it's also kind of commenting on like the slightly better and more well off in some kind of way are more successful and lucky and well off because that you know the money, the social, the economic advantages, the whatever else is being pulled in from like people that are slightly more poor, less educated, lower class.
It makes sense. There's a lot of people that are just, you know, again, like you mentioned, doing construction, or they're working at a grocery store. They're just doing all these jobs where you don't make a lot of money, but it's a lifetime employment thing. You just keep trudging through it. Like fleeters, for example, people working at convenience stores. We're doing those mundane jobs that nobody wants to do.
Long hours. Like, you know, in fairness, their minimum wage is double what it is in the States. I mean, it's not even like the absolute worst version, but it's still, it's long hours and dull and shitty and probably kind of soul breaking. Yeah.
I also really got fixated on the very beginning where there's it shows the main character, she's in the city, and then there's like she's waiting at a light, and when the light changes, everybody's kind of crossing at the crosswalk, and there's this old woman that stumbles, and she helps her, and nobody else does, and even some businessman bumps into them. He's a total asshole. And then they get across the street finally, and the old woman turns to her and she says something along the lines of like, I feel bad that young people have to suffer on our behalf. Or
because
have to,
the granddaughter drops her kind of her rollerboard as she's trying to help the old woman up, and it gets like a big scratch kind of down the side. I mean, like, you know, the thesis of this film is stated in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was like that's going to allude to kind of what they're going to do here. Although the here's the thing that troubles me the most: the ending.
Okay.
I don't get the ending.
It's the ending. I mean, so the granddaughter finally accepts. Okay, she tries living with her grandmother. She tries putting like needles to the eyes to stitch everything up herself. It's too painful. She can't do it. She accepts everything. Cuts back to Tokyo. She's dating what looks like a young doctor at the time. I think decently good at sort of being able to kind of pull apart some of these.
Oh no, not that.
Not that.
It's the grandmother. They say, "Oh, you seem to be filling
up." Oh, well, the grandmother
nicely.
gets pregnant, which
the grandmother gets
glossed over.
Pregnant, and then as she's goes into labor, there it has the whole family kind of like on their hands and knees. She's on their back. I was thinking of like Midsommar towards the end there with that sex scene. Where they're all like, push, you know, deep breath, push. And grandma's on the back, you know, with like
grandma has been pregnant for the back half.
Her apron is lifted up. She's not wearing panties. And her son, I'm guessing it's her son or maybe son-in-law.
Great removing them bone leg, folks. We can certainly
is helping deliver the baby. And then at one point she just split and ejects some kind of liquid all over his face. And he just keeps smiling and waiting for that baby to come out. He's like, here it comes. And then she delivers the baby. And then the daughter comes back and then she sees grandma with the baby.
Grandma holding a perfectly healthy baby right there.
Holy shit. What the fuck was that?
Can we read that as middle-class people are so overworked and just overscheduled?
I don't have time for babies.
It might as well. And like the grandparents are they're so dependent on the grandparents for kind of taking the kids. Maybe it's a commentary on it might as well just be grandma's having the baby herself, because like the mom won't even like see the kid ever.
Here's something I was thinking about too. I'm not sure. I can't get very far with this like thought, but as they mentioned too, when they don't have like one of those like people they have strapped in their home that they're eating their miso out of them, you start experiencing these like weird side effects where you.
What was the things like? Okay, the first thing is we're going to bleed, and then there's something else, and the last thing is going to be we're going to just start laughing.
You just start laughing. Yeah. Do you notice? Actually, no, it's kind of falls apart now. There is a scene where grandma's ear's bleeding, but grandpa right away is like laughing. He's like laughing and bleeding. Everybody else seems to be experiencing everything pretty immediately. Grandma very slowly, not so much. And I felt like, is she kind of like is this her, you know, is grandpa really her husband? Are those really her daughter and her husband, and those really her grandkids? Did she just give birth to all of them? And maybe this is something that keeps feeding her.
Oh, interesting.
And then I started thinking about that in relation to in Japan they have a why am I blanking on this? It's like a family registry, right? Okay. Where everything is tied in with the grandparents, and so you capture in that one registry, family registry,
like the incon, like the stamps that you're supposed to get.
Yeah, well, what it is, you go downtown and you register, and I even had to do this. They had to register, so my wife had to register me and my kids all under the family registry, and it all goes back up to my wife's parents' parents. Right, so it's like the grandparents, and that's where it starts. And so I was like, maybe that's kind of where it is, where it's kind of like a matriarchal thing, and it starts
like a matter of kind of like
it's up to the women or something maybe to keep finding a replacement for. Because why did it fall on like the aunt? Like I was like, that's really weird. I mean,
it does seem like the women are the ones all kind of making the active decisions, and the guys are just kind of going along with everything.
Yeah. It's that's what I'm saying. It's like such a thinker film where even after I was done, I'm like, I think I get some of it. I still probably don't understand most of it.
It's kind of one of those things, and Eraserhead is a movie I actually almost kind of recommended for like these shows that we're doing, but it's a film that's sort of simultaneous, very similar. Like it's simultaneously there's some stuff that you can get, they can kind of pull out obvious message, obvious interpretations of, and there's some stuff that's just there that's weird for the sake of weird. Can I take a guess at what your favorite scene in the entire movie was?
What?
There's a dream sequence where the slave comes out in his underwear and his mouth and his eyes are all stitched together, and the family's all sitting on a tatami mat, and the dad just kind of starts scratching the tatami mat like it's like a turntable.
Yeah.
And then the grandparents just going bop, bop,
bop. Somebody slapped.
And the guy just starts doing this dance. I'm watching this thing. I'm like, this is just out of Eric's subconscious.
I was like, watch, there's going to be nothing behind all of this. This is going to be Japanese nonsense. And then I remember they're all kind of like laughing. And then they kind of focus in on the daughter. And she's just kind of like, what the hell is this? And then there's just a little smirk at the end. And I'm like, oh, man, they hooked her into the whole thing about happiness.
That's foreshadowing how she's eventually going to slip.
I was like, that's where things change. So I was like, there was something behind that one.
All right. So score 0 to go Ju. I went Sanju Hachi for this one.
Wow, I went 32.
32. Okay.
32.
I had a really great time with this. This was a really fun pick. Been thinking about it ever since.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's a total Nana Ju.
All right.
On to the next one.